Hi everyone, this is Joe from Healing Math Trauma, and I'm going to talk today about fractions, which I know can send shivers of terror down many people's spines. And the reason I want to talk about fractions is that I really want us to understand the layers in which fractions really represent a huge intellectual leap for students and how we need to honor and respect the intellectual work that students are doing when they learn about fractions.
One of the reasons that fractions are so hard for students is that what a fraction is kind of changes as they progress in their mathematical career and as they become more mathematically mature. So if we think about kids' first introduction to fractions, we might think about a situation like I have one cookie and I want to share it among four people, so how much of a cookie does each person get? So you can represent that by drawing yourself a cookie, split it up among four different people, and then we can see each person gets 1/4 of the cookie. You might then even progress to slightly more complicated problems like I have two cookies now to share among those four people, and so how much of a cookie does each person get? And so if I have two cookies getting shared evenly among four people, I need to take this two and split it up, divide it up into four even parts, which I'll do like that. And so now I can see that each person is getting one of these half cookies. So now all of a sudden we start talking about equivalent fractions. Two cookies divided among four people gives us is the same as one cookie being divided among two people. 2 over 4 is the same as 1/2. So we have this same fraction being represented in two different ways, 2/4 and 1/2. And this is where we start to get into the idea of equivalent fractions and the fact that fractions are actually numbers, which is a huge intellectual leap for kids to think about parts of a whole to now that's actually a number, and I need to integrate this new concept into what I already think of as numbers. Kids know about the number line, and when they initially learn about the number line, they think about whole numbers, one, two, three. They learn about zero, but now we're saying, okay, that fraction that you had over here, 2/4 or 1/2 or 1/4, you can represent that on the number line. I can take this distance between 0 and 1 and I can divide it up into even pieces. So I've divided up into two even pieces right here. So this right here is 1/2, but I can divide it up even further so that now it's been divided up into four even pieces. And so here's 1/4, here's 2/4, here's 3/4, and I can see that 1/2 and 2/4 represent the same number. Sorry, represent the same location on the number line. They represent the exact same number. And that's really, really weird that there are multiple different ways to represent that same number. And so when we wonder why are fractions so confusing, why do fractions give so many kids math anxiety and math trauma, a huge part of it is the fact that they are just a big conceptual leap. And if we try to pretend that fractions are easy, um, we really do students a disservice because they're not. They're really hard, and we need to respect that. We need to honor that, and we need to not rush students through trying to make sense of them. And we need to make sure that we're explaining fractions in ways that are concrete, that are tangible, and that are making connections between those concrete, tangible representations to these more abstract ideas like equivalent fractions.
Thank you so much for watching this video. As always, hit me up in the comments if you have any questions. I would love to continue this discussion further. If you now suddenly have thoughts or ideas about fractions that you'd like to share, I'd love to hear them.